There's a lot of stuff going on in our country today. Well, it always has been. It's been going crazy. There's a lot of stuff happening around the world. We have, oh my goodness, I don't know if you guys follow it or not, or just kind of like, see what happens next, But, with all the virus going on and chaos with the riots and people just destroying things and you name it. Uh, Hopefully, once this epidemic gets done with this virus, once they find a vaccine for it, we all can go back to our lives like it was. Because, my anxiety, and I apologize today, is a little high. Um, so if I get a little carried away with stuff, let me know. I noticed my audio and stuff is not too good for some reason. I don't know if I don't know what happened. The sound and everything is not working right. So, um, like I said, I'm looking for somebody who would like to be like an editor type deal, volunteer. Come in and help me have fun with this. Um, you know, Bringing up issues, bringing up things, and have control of the system. So when I'm talking and when I'm going to the next picture slide or whatever, I don't have to fiddle with all that kind of stuff. So, any of you have any, you know, knowledge or even a little bit? Because I got just a little bit myself, and I'm pretty well. I don't know if you notice, I'm doing pretty good. The lighting, I can't seem to get it to stop adjusting in and out. So, but I have to work with what I got. One of these days, my poor uncle gets out of the rich, my rich uncle gets out of the poorhouse type deal. Maybe I'll get a better system. I don't know. But yeah, I noticed that my lighting is kind of funky and I can't seem how to correct that. I've been watching a lot of the YouTubes, a lot of the gentlemen and stuff that gives you recommendations, ideas, type stuff. I noticed with their lighting uh, systems and stuff like that, it's really upgraded, and I guess it's pretty cheap to buy and everything. But you know, uh, with my budget, I gotta kind of watch how I do things. I'm not getting any. Uh, I'm not getting paid to do this or anything. This is something I'm doing. I'm just giving you my opinions about stuff and about the history. Because, like I said, history is something very important. Without our history, we wouldn't be here, to tell you the truth. I mean, to look back at our history and see what our forefathers and, um, you know, where we all came from and how our world formed and our countries and how it all got divided and our presidents with the work and efforts and all of them do. And reading back on with the Congress and the governments and stuff like that, they just do nothing but bicker and fight with one another, and they can never come to a conclusion because they're better than the other guy. They can't just say, hey, let's work this out because they don't like somebody. And that's that's a big problem we have in our country. Uh, I was reading where some lady uh, telling somebody they have to move out of their house because they're better than they are or whatever. It's and then our neighbors going shooting. That poor little child in North Carolina. He was riding his bicycle out in the front yard or whatever, out in the street, and his next door neighbor came out and put a gun to his head and shot him. It's just it's sad. That people are like that. I mean, it's unbelievable. I know we got to have some type of gun control and everything, but common sense. You don't take somebody else's life because you don't like them or they were in your yard or or whatever. I mean, you just don't go around shooting people and hurting people, beating them up and stuff. That, you know, and we need people like that one officer did. You know, that poor guy was on his motorized wheelchair type deal, got stuck on the railroad tracks, and she, you know, put her own life on the line to rescue that guy before that. I mean, that train was there, and if it wasn't for her, that guy would have been dead. Like I talked about in my segments, my other shows, that, trains can't stop. I mean, they can see you, but time they get there, they're not stopped. I mean, it takes a long time for those trains to just come to a halt. So, that's one of those things you gotta keep an eye out. Be careful. Maybe they need to do something to fix that area for that gentleman if he has to ride his scooter back and forth across those tracks. Maybe there needs to be something for that gentleman. Instead of taking down statues or spending money on that kind of stuff. And let's improve our society and stuff that needs to be improved. That's what matters. You know. Um, in our history today, I will be talking about farming and stuff like that, and because it's one of the important things in our country. It's farming. But to get back, I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit. Like I said, I do definitely need some help, guys. Any suggestions, any comments, shoot them up to me. Please give me a thumbs up on my show if you like it. Share it. I definitely would love to see my show get out there and reach out to people. If you think it's really that meaningful, that that information that I'm giving needs to be shared. And follow me. I already got quite a few people following me now on my show, and God bless you. Thank you. You guys are my number one fans. And I appreciate that. Um, if you need my time slot changed or anything, I know the audio needs to be changed. I know that, and the lighting. I did change, like I said, I changed the background and stuff. So hopefully it's improving, as we go along and everything. So, but yeah, right now, the weather outside has been kind of humidity's been in our area here. Has been kind of a little bit on the humidity side. Um, you like my effects there? So you got to bear with me while I'm trying to talk and change things at the same time. Like I said, I'm trying to get this worked out a lot better, so it's easier for me to you know put the stuff out there for you. But if you notice, the weather today is going to be in the 71 with like this morning, but the air was still warm. It was like humidity a little bit. It's showing 82 here in Buffalo. They said at noon we're going to be at 83. So hey, they got pretty close. Uh, about 4 o'clock tonight, it's going to be about 88. And then they're talking about there's going to be thunder showers, possible heavy storms coming because of the cold and the warmer humidity temperatures and everything. It's a good chance for some more, you know, storms type deal. And you can see on here on the weather map here where that we're in the yellow section, and that's where it's supposed to be more severe. And then as northwest you go, it's supposed to be even pretty much even rougher than that. They're calling for like hail. You got to watch out for tornadoes and stuff like that. Here's outlook of the map here a little bit, where you can see where it's going to go across the northeast, but it's kind of like sink down into us as well. So kind of keep a good eye on your weather. Listen to your forecast. Alert stations if you have any types of systems that let you know to take cover. Always be safe out there. If you have a basement or uh, some kind of shelter that you can go to if there's any type of storms that actually do pop up. Now this is going to start tonight and it's supposed to go on till tomorrow, I believe, till later on in the afternoon. This is what it looks like for tomorrow. So yeah, let's definitely watch yourself because there's if you notice there with the green, of course that's just a heavier rain, and then you get into the yellow where it's more severe, and then of course in the red where anything possible can pop up. So kind of give you guys heads up on that. And then of course if around your nation, around your nation and stuff, around the United States, kind of outlook of what it's supposed to be looking like through the, pretty much the weekend is, out west it's going to be very high heat, humidity, and of course the northern plains or the southern plains is going to be, off and on showers, thunderstorms, as well as us up here in the north side. So it's not going to, doesn't look like it's going to be too good of a weekend, you know what I'm saying? It's just, but it's beautiful right now, so take advantage of it if you can. Go out there and go boating and everything like that. Get your fishing and stuff or hiking, go out and get some fresh air. Of course, it's that kind of things. It's hard to do. I know it's Friday. A lot of you probably still working or whatever, or working. You won't get off till later on tonight and stuff like that. But later on tonight is going to. So if you want to get out and do anything, I advise me you probably do it tonight when you get off work. Enjoy it. Um, if you are out there boating and stuff, please be careful. Watch out for the other boaters and stuff. Use cautious. And if you're out and about, we've got a beautiful area through here, scenic and all that. With we have different types of restaurants and bars and stuff like that. Even right there by the river and stuff, you can dock your boat, or if you're driving, or places to stop in and see. If you need refreshments, beer, uh, bait, snacks, whatever, or gasoline, we have the BS gas station there, right by the river. So, please, we got it all here if you need it. And we got, in Cochrane, we got, uh, the same thing type deals with the restaurants and bars. And we got, today and tomorrow, the gentleman has a, make a deal type, place. If you see some items in there, check it out. It's on Main Street there. So yeah, definitely. He would love to see you guys stopping in, And then of course we got the schoolhouse, here in Buffalo City. You could has hand me down odds and ends stuff as well. Give him a check out. Get out and about, and don't forget wear your mask though. It's pretty much that's what they're telling us we have to do. It's not really like, I don't want to be forced or whatever. It's for your protection and for everybody else's protection. It's just common sense to use. Okay? Now, I'm going to jump in here a little bit, talking about food and stuff like that, in our history, years and years, back in Stone Age days, they didn't really farm or anything like that. Their way of means of getting food and stuff were like different types of plants they find or whatever, tested them out, eat it, ate them that way and stuff. And most of their eating stuff was wild game, rabbits or whatever they found, buffalo, stuff like that. When they were out there hunting and stuff, so they had food and nourishment. Excuse me. Like I said, my anxiety's up a little bit today. But the farmers back then, well, they wasn't farmers. They were pretty much hunters, but like I said, to get what they needed and stuff was from, what they found plant-wise and all that. And then, later on in the time, in Egyptian time and all that, that when they started to come across um, that they can actually, take the grain and wild grain they're finding and all that. Uh, Holy Jesus, criminy. um, the area, when they, at first when they were going around and, they would find plants and everything, and then they started discovering, taking the seeds and everything, and they started making little seedlings and planting them nose and stuff, and then, they germinate them and stuff like that to keep the bugs off, and they find that, with their wheat, barley, and grain and stuff was a real good source of protein. So that's when they started realizing, that's when we're going to start farming. Okay. Um, Back in the selling day, there's, when Americans started, farming and everything else as well, people were sprouting out and they built their little huts and everything, and I would call them gardens. They started out with just gardens and everything, and then they had their animals, goats, sheep, um, cows and stuff, and the weak ones, those are the ones they, slaughtered and all that, and made into their meals and stuff. Well, as they discovered that when they started planting more wheat and germinating them and everything else through time a little bit, they found that it was easy, they made fields out of it. So then now they became farmers. Uh, with the regular rainfall and everything, making the ideal growth in grains such as raising uh, grass and everything for their cattle, and they for their sheep and their goats, and then they always had plenty for themselves, and then all of a sudden they realized we have lots more left over. Of course they stored it in the wintertime, and they was able to, like, what, my farmer friend down the road, he's not doing too good, and they started distributing to different farms, and then they discovered that more of that was going on. Then they started going out and to the retailers and supply lands, when they did all their baling and everything. Of course, it was all done by hand and everything like that. They found out that shipping their crops, their corn, and everything else, that, hey, we can make money off of this. So, because without our food, without our grain, with all that, because there was like families out there wasn't farming, they had just their stores, or like you remember watching the Wild Wild West type stuff where they just had those little bars with their little restaurants and stuff like that. Well, where did they get all the wheat and grain and everything like that? So they have it. They started milking cows at the farms, finding out they had extra milk, they had extra eggs, they had everything. It was just so neat to watch, or for me to read all this, because my ancestors, well, my elders, I should say, they bought a farm here in Buffalo, well, in Belvedere, way back, and it was a cattle farm. It started out as a cattle farm, milking cows and stuff. And I remember as a youngster going down there when I was little, they milked and bale hay and straw and oats and corn and all that stuff, to feed the animals plus whatever was left over. I remember riding with my uncle one time, me and my cousin, we went into town in Alma and unloaded the corn there, to their silos. So it was kind of cool. And I really didn't, at the time I really didn't know. But in school I learned more and more about it, from the history books, that this was what this was all about. So that's one reason why I want to bring this part up, because, this is the heart of everything that we're all about, because we started out in the pioneer days and everything, growing crops and everything, to even the tobacco use. They grew tobacco and stuff, so people had their cigars, cigarettes, and everything like that. And not only that, I mean, we also had to have, you know, clothing and stuff. Even talking about being little out there on the farm and stuff. And I have pictures of my dad and his brother out there on the farm when they were little kids, helping out on the farm as well. So when you were able to walk, pretty much, you were out there learning, and you started working into the farms. Um, as of course, as you get older and stuff, you took over the tradition of your family and stuff. Like my cousin, he took over the farm. He turned it into a chicken farm, where he raised chickens and everything. So we have chickens to eat, because that's one of the things we always got to eat more and more of is chicken. Because I'll tell you, we love our chicken. And of course, in the olden days, they didn't have like bins, or I don't know what they call them, the long old buildings that have the the chickens and everything. Here they were had and fed and everything taken care of and all that. As they got real big or whatever. And of course that was your source of food and stuff. And of course they took them and they made them, to the markets and stuff like that. And that's how they made their living. Farmers were not rich. Farmers were, they just got by. Sometimes it was rough. It all depending on the season. And hold on, it all depends. I mean, if you had a drought, the locusts. I guess what was that? When the I forgot what it was called. It was something that happened at the Northeast with the dust, the desert dust winds or whatever, took out everything, and they had a lot of places had to restart, rebuild their land and stuff to make it plentiful for the crops. I mean, we get crops from all different ways, not only from, you know, on dry land where we have to make sure give it a little bit of water and make sure it gets watered so it grows and everything to have plentiful crops and everything. Like in China, their crops depending on water to grow their rice. So we have rice to eat, for different things. So I mean, a lot of these neat little history things about farming and culture cultures and all that from different things. 900 BC was mostly your wheat, barley, fairly okay, and then in the 1800 BCs and potatoes. That's when potatoes started coming out. We had then Idaho and all them started doing potatoes. Uh, and not only for food, you know. Oops, I'm missing an image here. I knew I had one here. Hold on here. But it's very our history developed on a lot of the land, cotton for clothing, uh, vegetables of all sorts, from your tomatoes, peppers. We made salsa out of them. Everything that gets made and produced, even the trees, the apples, the pears, grapes, vines to make the wines. And our trees to make our housings and products. The coal mining, that was farming as well. They had to go in and mine the coal and all that. Everything started out, and it always has and always will, and we have to take good care of it, is our farmers, because, they're our food on the table. You know, you go to work and stuff like that, everything deals with you having proper nourishment, food, and everything like that. And, without these guys, doing all this, we probably would be back growing our own gardens or whatever. So, it's very important because, like I used to always can. I always loved making salsa. You know, my thing was salsa, and it was a lot of work to do, but I really enjoyed it. Usually get a group of people in there, and we make, get together and can salsa. And I always had a garden and stuff like that. I haven't had one in a few years and stuff because there's really nowhere here to do it. But with the way my back is and everything, I couldn't even get down on the ground to produce vegetables. I like to get one of those. I seen them on what was it? One of those garden shows I was watching. They have these upright gardens out of wood and everything, on stilts, so they're not on the ground; they're up higher, And that's kind of a good idea because imagine less bugs and everything, and your food is more organic than it is with all the chemicals on it. Because sometimes I wonder, do chemicals not one of the safest things we have on our planet anymore? But yeah, farming, you see a farmer or whatever, when you go to the grocery store or whatever, and you see somebody, a farmer, definitely thank them, because, like I said, without these guys, we wouldn't have the stuff we have. Without the epidemic going on, it makes it even harder, because, people don't really have the money now to go do all that shopping, buying produce and products, and trying to get the stuff delivered to the stores and everything is getting to be a more of a higher upkeep and higher cost to do that. And it makes it rough. It really does. I guess like we having beef shortage. Not a shortage, but it's hard to come by with hamburger and stuff. Because I know when I was at the grocery store, like pork chops, stuff like that, kind of a little harder to find and everything. So, but the farmers are the backbone of America. They're the men and women who work and thrive in the heat, in the bitter cold, and put food on our tables, clothing on our backs. They rise from the sun and they tend the crops and stay till late to review their accounts. They fight off invested insects and battle and erupted the weather. So you imagine, if there's bad weather, tornadoes and stuff, or hail. Hail's really rough on crops because it destroys a lot of it. Because the farmers are responsible for all the crops and livestock that are needed for us to survive. Without the food, the world would slowly die. And the farmers work hard every day to keep plenty of crops and animal productions in the market to keep that from happening. So remember that, next time you go by and, God, that place smells terrible. They should get rid of it. No, without that smell, you wouldn't have it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can ever become a vegetarian, to tell you the truth. So yeah, but and talking about the epidemic and everything, I'm going to throw this up there. I mean, we all know these are the numbers here in Wisconsin. Uh, they're saying as of yesterday, let me grab my note on that here. As of yesterday, the COVID 19 has spiked up a little bit. Not much, but it has spiked up a little bit for more cases and stuff. Um, they're saying that I gotta keep moving my mouse to get to where I gotta go. Like here in Buffalo County, we're actually coming down, by one number and stuff. So as of right now, it sounds like we're doing okay. It's not going to get any better, guys. It's not. Don't think this is all going to go away anytime soon. Uh, Till they get vaccine for it. I'm hearing that it's getting better at it. I guess we're spending a lot of money for the research and for the vaccine for it and stuff to get it out to us. Of course, I call them guinea pigs. The people that are getting the shots and everything. Seems like everything's doing pretty good with that. And if you had the virus, now they say you can't. I'm not sure, but I read that the other day that this person had the virus once and he got it again. So I guess it can reoccur. Like I said, don't quote me on it, but I was reading on that. Sometimes you get that fake news going on. But if you had the virus and everything, and you got okay with it, like the normal flu type, you sit a couple days and you're better again. Check with your doctor and stuff because if I'm not mistaken, they're looking for the antibody from it. They can pull it out of you, and it will save and help a lot of lives. So if we could do, like I said, if we could do our part on that part, that would be very, very grateful because without the research and the hard work the doctors and nurses and all them are doing to help us out to get through it. Like this morning I got a phone call. I got to go and get that test done again, so I can have my procedure done again. It's like, ugh. But you know what? I have to, or I won't be here. I shouldn't say that, but I need to take care of myself as well. One thing I was watching this morning, it was kind of sad a little bit, you guys. It's about the Twin Towers. When 9/11 hit, when the two towers got hit by the tourists with the planes, hijacked their planes and everything, and ransacked them into the Twin Towers and knocked them down. Every year on September 11th, they do all the reading and everything, and you can see the two lights that go up and everything. I guess they're not going to do it this year because of the epidemic. They said to put the lights up. It takes too many people to do it and everything. But you can go out driving around and there's tons of people gathering and rioting and everything else and construction and you name it. I don't think it takes much to put a couple spotlights up that I know of. I mean, who knows? They know more than I do because they said they're not gonna do it. But I guess next year, the 20th anniversary, they will have it going again. And most likely, they said with the vaccine coming in and stuff like that, by the end of the year, first of the year and stuff, we should start seeing the climb come back down and everybody get back to work, get our lives back together, and get our lives going again. And I really think a lot of this excuse my French, stuff going on and everything is because people don't have nothing else better to do. They're antsy. They want to go out there and play the video game that they've been playing on their Xboxes and stuff like that. Now they're doing it real life. Going out there and just shooting kids and people and hurting them and everything else, and it's just not right. You know, um, hopefully, people will start. They'll start growing up and. Uh, it's just I got a couple images up here. There we go. It we can all do our part on this. We can all work together. And do our part because, like I said, without our farmers, our truck drivers, our medical people, doctors and lawyers and all them, to nurses, to uh, first responders and all that stuff that has to be out there working and have to get into the disease itself and everything. That, got to thank them. And if you do have spare time, you don't have nothing to do. I mean, I was reading in the paper like our local fire department is looking for EMSs and drivers and people to work in the fire department and stuff like that. There's other things we can do and volunteer. I mean, you're getting paid to sit at home. You might as well go volunteer and do something. Help out the community and stuff. Do what's right. You know, but remember, you gotta protect yourself because without protecting ourselves, we're gonna give it to somebody else, and somebody else is gonna give it to somebody else, and it's gonna be to a point where everybody has it, and we're not gonna be good to nobody if there ain't nobody around. So we all just need to do our part, take care of each other, respect each other. God gave us all life, and to wipe the things that we always learned and believed in is not, it's not right. Don't take away things that our country has done, and we can learn from their mistakes and learn from their positive stuff that they did. And in our history, I mean, we have done a lot of stuff out there, and we're all equal. We're all one God's people. We're God's people. We're all God's children. He did not put us in here to fight each other and call each other races and stuff like that. Because when you're sitting there, a black gentleman to a white gentleman to an Indian gentleman to a Jewish gentleman, they're not by color, by race, by religion. They're by their name. You are you, and I am me. My name's Lee, and I'm not just another person out there in a world that has no purpose. My purpose is to live and enjoy life and take care of my children. And my children is to do the same thing. And that's the way they were brought up as to respect and respect other people. My boys and my daughter, they're very good people. Good kids. And I get praised by it all the time. How wonderful my kids are. We're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But, we learn from our mistakes. And for those who are sitting there wanting to take away the history of our life, you're just not right. There's something wrong with you. So, but I'm going to let it go from now. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you on Monday. My trucker friends, please, Godspeed with you, be with you. Keep it between the lines, and get that freight to us. We're running low. I love you guys. God bless. Peace. Talk to you.